Let's turn our attention now to Media Watch. Emma James is here, starting with the many tributes and heartbreaking stories about the air crash in Colombia, of course, the death of almost an entire football club, that club, Chapecoense of Brazil.
Yes, it was a fairy tale story, really, that has had the most unthinkably tragic ending. The Chapecoense footballers are being remembered across the globe, especially by fans of the beautiful game, but not only by them. This particular tweet from a fan account in the name of Lionel Messi says the Chapecoense president said this before boarding. They said they were going to turn their dreams into reality. The dream ended today. Força Chape. And that is a hashtag being used by a lot of people. Samantha Power, the United States ambassador to the United Nations, had this to say: Cinderella dream ended tragically. Our prayers are with all those killed in the heartbreaking plane crash and their loved ones. Many people are sharing this particular moment when the team of outsiders, as they were really, booked their place in the final of the Copa Sudamericana. The plaudits going to Marcos Danilo, the goalkeeper who was pulled alive from the wreckage, but we now know died later in hospital. He was very much the hero of the moment, and his last save is what put them through to the final. Amazing scenes of celebration there on the pitch. Today, of course, we have moved on to scenes of remembrance, mourning and respect. This particular tribute from the Wembley Stadium in London, they have lit the new arches of Wembley Stadium in green, along with the message Força Chape once again. And this too from Barcelona players who held a minute's silence at their training session today in memory of those players who died. The act of remembrance all in stark and terrible contrast, really, to the scenes that we saw just 5 days ago in the changing room after their win.
These are the actual players then, yeah?
This was posted today by the club. They shared the video saying, let this be the last image of our warriors. It's an amazing message because, as we now know, so many of these people would have been on board that flight. It is a terrible thing to see, and even more so when you look at the scene in the dressing room today. These are a few of the players who were left behind in the locker room. They didn't travel with their teammates. We know that one team member didn't go simply because he forgot his passport. A moment of amazing luck for him, but it will be a very difficult thing for him to deal with moving forward. As for their fans, one of the most heartbreaking images, as this Twitter user says, of 2016, these were his heroes, and they all died today. For the team, though, it is interesting to see that at this moment there has been one example of exceptional sportsmanship. Atlético Nacional, who were due to face them in the final, have asked for Chapecoense to be declared Copa Sudamericana champions after they lost their lives in that plane crash.
That is an immense gesture by Nacional, and let's hope that that is taken on board and awarded to that team who've been destroyed in such horrible circumstances. Let's, Emma, change the tone a little bit, change the mood a little bit. We go to the US, where there has been another Twitter rant by the one and only president-elect, and it is causing great concern. Sorry, Donald Trump on a Twitter rant. Tell us more.
Yes, Donald Trump was up with the lark today and tweeting for everyone to get annoyed about, it would appear. Good morning, America, at 7 a.m. and your president-elect is currently on a Twitter rant against the First Amendment, says this Twitter user. What he said was nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail. Now, the Daily Beast is reporting on this one, and they say the outburst isn't as random as it might appear to be, because at the moment when he was tweeting, there was actually an article on Fox News, an item on Fox News about students burning the American flag. So it wasn't out of the blue. However, people are still concerned that he has chosen to voice his feelings in this way. Context really doesn't matter to everyone, it would appear. David Frum, who is the senior editor of The Atlantic magazine, says if Trump wants to imprison flag burners, imagine what he'll try to do to journalists who report on his corruption. It would be nice to think that's an exaggeration, but He has really waged war against journalists. Gavin Newsom, a US politician, says that the Supreme Court has ruled it is protected under the First Amendment, the right to burn the American flag. He says it's very worrisome that in Trump's mind, 1 year of jail is equivalent to a loss of citizenship. Now, what a lot of people are pointing out is this is far from the first time that this has been talked about in the United States, and many pointing out that back in 2005, it was one New York Senator, Hillary Clinton, who was calling for flag burning to be criminalised. However, she wasn't talking, of course, about revoking citizenship. What is interesting, though, is that people really are taking very seriously these words of Donald Trump. Elliot Lustig among them. Too many people today are acting like Trump's tweets are just a distraction. Don't. The moment we lose our sense of outrage, we are done.
And Emma James, you are done too. Thank you very much indeed for that analysis, Emma James there with Media Watch. Kate